Hey everyone, and welcome to another photo editing tutorial. Today, we are diving into Adobe Lightroom Mobile to transform this beautiful landscape shot with a striking waterfall. First things first, open up your Lightroom Mobile application. Under the Light tab, you have a range of options to control the brightness and tone of your image. We are going to dive straight into the Curve tool. The RGB curve allows us to manipulate the brightness of different tonal areas. We are going to create a classic S-curve for added contrast. Click on the line to add points. This S-curve generally makes the blacks richer and the whites brighter, giving your photo more punch. For the red curve, if you pull down the shadows, you'll introduce more cyan into those darker areas. Lifting the highlights will add more red to the brighter parts. Experiment with these adjustments to achieve the desired mood and color balance. Move to the green channel, where pulling down can introduce magenta, and lifting can add more green. Finally, with the blue channel, pulling down adds yellow, and lifting enhances blues. These micro adjustments on the individual curves can have a significant impact on the overall feel of your image, especially for creative color grading. Once you're happy with your curve adjustments, tap Done to apply them. Now, let's refine our light settings further. Let's adjust the contrast. Increasing contrast makes the darks darker and the lights lighter. For this image, let's try decreasing the contrast slightly to soften the look, -10. Next, highlights. These control the brightest parts of your image. Let's boost the highlights a bit, bringing out more detail in the waterfall, maybe to around +20. The shadows slider controls the darker areas. Pulling shadows down will deepen them, adding more drama. Let's set this to around -10. Finally, we'll fine-tune whites and blacks for optimal overall tonality. Adjust the whites to make the brightest parts pop without clipping, and the blacks to define the darkest areas. Now, let's move on to the Color panel. Tap on Color, and then select Grading. Color grading is where you can add specific color tints to your shadows, midtones, and highlights. We'll start with the shadows. This will allow you to introduce a specific color into the darkest parts of your image. Let's add a subtle cool tone to the shadows by dragging the dot towards the blue and cyan area. Next, select midtones. These are the middle tones of your image. For this shot, let's add a touch of warmth to the midtones, moving the color picker towards a subtle yellow or orange hue. And finally, the highlights. Here, we can add a complementary color to our midtones. Once you're satisfied with your color grading, tap Done. Back in the Color panel, let's explore the Color Mix tool. This powerful feature allows you to individually adjust the hue, saturation, and luminance of specific colors in your photo. Let's select the red color. You can increase or decrease its hue, saturation, and luminance. For example, by decreasing the saturation of reds, you can desaturate warmer tones like skin or some rocks. Moving to orange, we can play with its luminance and saturation. Increasing the luminance can brighten up skin tones, while increasing saturation can make elements like the person's jacket more vibrant. Now for the green. If there were more green elements, you could shift their hue, for instance, making a dull green more vibrant, or reducing its luminance to darken foliage. The blue and aqua colors are crucial for enhancing the water and sky in this image. By adjusting their saturation and luminance, you can make the water of the waterfall appear more vibrant and the misty spray more prominent. Vibrance selectively increases the intensity of muted colors, while saturation boosts the intensity of all colors equally. For this image, let's slightly decrease the overall saturation to give it a more natural, desaturated feel, maybe around -15 to 20. Now, let's adjust the temperature to make the image slightly cooler, bringing out the blue tones in the mist and water. Then, a subtle adjustment to tint can help balance any green or magenta casts. Under the Detail tab, you'll see options for sharpening, noise, and color noise. Let's start with noise. If your photo was taken in low light or with a high ISO, you might notice grain or digital noise. To combat this, drag the noise reduction slider to the right. For this image, let's bring it up to around 39. This helps smooth out unwanted graininess. Next, switch to the Color Noise tab. Color noise appears as colored specks, especially in shadow areas. Let's increase the color noise reduction significantly, almost to 98, to eliminate any colorful artifacts. Then, adjust smoothness slightly, perhaps to 55, to ensure a natural look without over-smoothing. Now, let's enhance the crispness of our image by going back to the Sharpening tab. Sharpening defines edges and brings out fine details. Increase the sharpening slider. Let's try around 58. Be careful not to overdo it, as it can introduce unwanted halos. With our global adjustments for noise and sharpness complete, let's explore one of Lightroom Mobile's most powerful features, masking. The Create New Mask menu offers several intelligent selection tools. Let's start by enhancing the sky. Tap Select Sky. Lightroom's AI will automatically detect and create a mask for the sky. With the sky mask active, let's go to the color panel specific to this mask. We want to give our sky a warmer, more golden hour feel. Use the Hue slider to shift the sky's color. By dragging the color selector on the hue bar towards yellow or orange, we can achieve a beautiful sunset glow. To further enhance that warm tone, let's increase the temperature slider for the sky, bringing it up to +100. This adds a strong warm cast, making the sky truly vibrant. Now, let's adjust the light settings specifically for our sky. Increase their exposure slightly to brighten that golden light. Let's set it to around +2.20 to make the warm tone stand out. Now, let's add some atmospheric haze to the sky for a softer, dreamier look. Navigate to the Effects panel within the mask and slightly decrease the dehaze slider, perhaps to -10. Use the Brush tool on the left to refine your mask. Tap the brush icon, select the Eraser option, and carefully erase the mask from the subject's feet or any other areas you don't want affected by this specific adjustment. With our linear gradient mask active for the foreground, let's go to its color panel. We'll introduce a subtle warmth to the foreground elements to complement the sky. Drag the hue slider towards orange or a reddish hue. Next, go to the light panel for this gradient. We can slightly increase the exposure of the foreground. Let's set it to around +0.80. This subtle lift can bring out more detail in the rocks. To add a touch of atmosphere to the foreground, similar to the sky, let's slightly decrease the dehaze slider to -15 within this gradient mask. This will soften the distant rocks and create a subtle mist. For a smoother, softer look in the foreground, we can significantly reduce the texture to -100. Then, selectively increase clarity to around +27. We are going to add another mask, this time a linear gradient to affect the foreground. Tap the plus icon and select Linear Gradient. For this upper gradient, let's slightly decrease the exposure to around -0.53 to deepen the tones of the mountains. Then, pull down the blacks to -5 to add richness to the darker elements in that area. Finally, we'll use the Brush tool for highly precise adjustments. Tap the plus icon on the masking panel and select Brush. Let's go to the light and increase their exposure to around +1.01, making them more prominent against the powerful backdrop. Lastly, A slight increase in dehaze to +1 can add a bit of contrast. Then, significantly decrease the texture to around -87.